Hello and welcome to another installment of What Rules Will Jeff Forget Today? So some folks had pointed out that I keep forgetting to disrupt people after close combat, which was true. I guess I mistakenly moved one person 2 spaces during a preservation move. I didn't go back and replay the video. I'm taking you for your word. Obviously that's not allowed. So my apologies there. I think I got most of it corrected in that 2-minute video. Many hours have passed. Today was a rough day at work, so I'm very grateful to be sitting down in front of a board game, and I am a little mentally exhausted from today, but I'm hoping this will be a different type of stimulus that won't be as bad. So let's find out how badly we get destroyed. So we finished the turn, and we just moved to turn 7 with the P action is now available. So we do the amphibious landing, and there's only really one place to land, and we're only drawing to see if it drifts because there's nobody that can fire on them. And you can see there's no drift. So so it does land, and where will it land? I'm going to land it here because that's next to an HQ, a regimental HQ, so that means they're all going to get free actions, and I can get them off the beach. So I think that's the best outcome there. Somebody pointed out that in close combat, it says 1 card if any heroes are present, 1 card if flamethrower is present. I sort of see it both ways, but I interpreted this as 1 card per flamethrower, but somebody pointed out that if that was what it intended, that's what it would have said. So what they're saying is if I have multiple flamethrowers, I still only get 1 card. And so the reason that came up is because I have 2 flamethrowers here, and I was hoping to do some serious hurt with that, and I won't be able to. But that's okay. I still have options. Since this is an HQ, I can make this guy go that way, and I can go this way. I mean, there's multiple things I can do here. We have 2 disrupted units. I think the bigger concern is these counterattack guys. We are going to have some close combat, and we're going to be disrupted from that and at the start of our turn. So, but I do think that this counterattack thing was a blessing because those tanks, I think, were going to be a lot harder to take out without the counterattack situation. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so we just started the turn. We landed our guy, and now it's peanut butter event time, and we are on turn 7. So we have Semper Fi, conduct an extra action this turn. I will take it. So we use 3 actions instead of 2. That's why they give us that extra marker there, so that's all good. And that's a much better outcome than the previous events that we've had these last couple turns. Okay, so so now it's the Japanese attack time. And remember, counterattack goes first. So we can draw it and at least see what it is. It's going to be gold, red, and purple. And look at this. This was the one thing I said we did not want. And guess what we got? And here, I'll show you. Right here. That's going to get reinforced. This game, I'm telling you, we haven't drawn red the whole game, except for maybe 1 time. And now we draw it with the M symbol. I mean, if I would have drawn red with a tank oval, we would have been fine. But it's with the M symbol. I just, I even knew we did not want this red to get populated, and it will be. And I'm very angry, but let's play the game. Okay, so based on my memory of this counterattack nonsense, they are going to do their counterattack first. And I'm just pulling up the rules again because this is actually a little involved. So what they're going to do is they're going to do their counterattack action no matter what. We get that. They're going to move within 3 hexes, and they're going to try to attack a US unit. And they will prioritize the west, which is sort of like this way, and then the south, which is that way, And those are the two directions they prioritize the most. And they always go after whoever's closest. And if they can't go after anybody, they move to another position or at least 3 spaces. So that's the idea. And so if you go with the closest ones, this guy, of course, this tank is going to close combat our inspired unit who only has 1 step left. He's on the verge of death. This one will go here, which is what we designed. We put those guys there knowing that he would do that, and this one the same. So we're going to have 3 counterattacks going on there. And then this one will go 1, 2, 3, like that. And this one will go 1, 2, 3, like so. The part that's not super clear is that it says it prioritizes positions. So obviously, if it would have went 1, 2, 3, this is closer. But I think he will stop there. I think that's the better move. So obviously, if this guy wins, he loses his counterattack depth marker because he will have a position that overlooks the beach. And we're actually going to be in a little bit of a pickle if he does win. However, our units are going to get actions. So let's do this. We have to resolve all of this before we resolve anything on this card. So so we're going to start with, we'll start with the tough battle here. One that I'm pretty sure we're going to lose. We get 1 card for the pip, nothing for our hero because our hero's dead, and he's going to get 2 cards because he has a depth marker and a tank, and he's going to let me look here real quick. He gets 1 for being a tank, and does he have a strength of 4 or more? Yes, he does. So he gets 1 for having a strength of 4. And he does not get 1 for being in counterattack stance. So he has a whole bunch. We have a little. And as somebody who's been watching these videos recommended, this might be the perfect opportunity to withdraw. So let's see. Japanese goes first. So the color, by the way, is purple. And so we're dead. It didn't even matter. We already died. So our unit gets eliminated. Our hero goes back into the hero pool. I'm assuming, by the way, this is a rule check for anybody who's watching. This hero is now no longer on a unit. I can put it back in the pool, right? So if I draw another event someday, I can reuse this hero. I'm assuming I can. But anyways, this happens, and these other cards are just going to go back on top of the deck. We don't get to see how it would have turned out. And this tank is now successfully overlooking the beach, and this counterattack marker goes away. It goes back into the cup. So he's now a formidable foe because he can now do all kinds of damage. Now, the one thing that... So everybody keeps saying that after close combat, you put a disrupted unit on, but I think this is the situation where I don't, because this is rule 8.66. So let's make sure. Japanese units and death markers that survive a close combat remain revealed. Japanese unit that becomes disrupted by close combat during the Japanese action phase becomes undisrupted at the end of that phase. Oh, at the end of the phase. Okay, so he's not going to be disrupted, but technically speaking, he's disrupted right now. And here's why this is important. Purple fires. And so he's occupying a purple spice, and he's not, if he's not disrupted, he could theoretically attack. But he is, for right now, he's disrupted. And so I'll go ahead and put it on for now. But he won't be disrupted at the end of this action phase. So I hope that makes sense. Let's go to the next one. This next one is a strength of 4. So he's going to get a card for having 4 strength. 2 cards for his units, and then 1 card for the, for the tank. So that's his cards. And we have 1 card for the flamethrower, 4 cards for the pip. Yeah, because we're full strength. We have the flamethrower. And then we get another card because the Japanese are in counterattack. So we actually get an extra card for that. We are stacked with cards. And so this is actually going to be a tough battle for the Japanese. But if the cards go their way, we can be screwed. Okay, so we're attacking on a non-position. You can see that here, right? So this tank may have come from a position. He actually came from this position here. And so what happened is we're using his color here, this purple. See that little purple in the counterattack depth? So that's the color we're using for determining a successful hit. So we're going to do purple again. And we do have a unit next to us. Oh, you know what? I made a mistake on that last battle. I'm going to draw 1 card, okay? The U.S. was supposed to go first, not the Japanese. So remember, the Japanese went first and we died. So I'm going to do the U.S. go first, and if they do, all it does is disrupt Japan, but it would have caused Japan to lose their first card. And there it is. There's a hit. So our unit is still technically alive. And we got ourselves a pickle because I already discarded all the cards. But I'm going to have to redo the battle. So I'm going to keep these cards here, and we're just going to do another battle. And we'll get this tank back out. His disruption marker back out. Okay, so he had 2 cards for his units, 1 for being a tank, and 1 for strength 4. All right, we technically hit them, so that disrupts them. So that disruption marker is on them, and we only had 1 card, and that 1 card hit them. It does say CC reinforce here, but we ignore that when it's on our turn, okay? So we cause them to lose their top card. So they lose this card. That does not impact them. So now they get to go, and they drew the purple, and we died. So the outcome's the same. It's just it required a few more cards, and technically speaking, we hit them, but I don't think it matters. Them being disrupted doesn't do much. Okay, so back to our regularly scheduled program. I'm going to get rid of the counterattack depth marker and put it back where it was. Okay. Okay, so why did we get to go first? We get to go first because if we have another American unit next to the unit being attacked, which is this one, and in this case it was this guy's next to that, we get to go first. So we're going to do that. And remember, we're doing purple. And so we hit. And then it says U.S. fire on counterattack. So the Japanese are in counterattack stance. If drawn from the Japanese pile, treated as a no-hit. If drawn from the U.S. pile, it's a hit regardless. So we had a hit anyways because we were looking for purple. But let's say we were looking for red. This event means we would have hit no matter what the colors were. But we did hit, and the one thing I don't like about this game is that whole, I have to disrupt them first. I liked it better when we actually damage them. So they do lose their top card, which is good, because that was a purple. And so now they get to go, and they did not get a purple. And here you can see U.S. fire on counterattack, which means that it's a no-hit regardless of the color. So even if a purple was down here, this would have been a no-hit. But that's fine. It was a no-hit anyways. So now we go, and we miss. They go, and they miss. We go. Oh, come on. And we miss. They go. This is their last card. And thankfully, they miss. So right now, we are undamaged. We have 3 cards left. Let's see if we can get them. There's a purple right there. Okay, so he loses his depth marker, which I assume means that he's no longer counterattacking. next turn. That's an interesting thing. Just making sure. Oh, I see. I see. He stays in counterattack. Here's what happens. He stays in counterattack, but what you do is, this is his strength side to show that he has a depth marker. See that 2 there? You flip it over. So this shows that he's still in counterattack stance, but he no longer has a depth marker. There's no more strength that the depth marker is applying. So he is just a tank, but he's a tank that's still in counterattack mode. That's actually very cool. Very well done design-wise. So one more hit and that tank's destroyed. And there it is, right there. We got one more hit, and so we removed the disruption marker, and this tank that was charging in actually got destroyed. It's out of the game, and this goes back in the cup. That's a sweet deal. And we still had one card left, which will go back into the pile. So we survived that, and we took 0 damage. So that was a good outcome. And now, before I forget, but I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think it's Sir Bastius or whatever. Whoever is always chatting with me after these games, I almost intentionally didn't put a disruption marker on there just to get a rile out of you. But you've been so good to me. I'm going to do this. So we're disrupted. We're disrupted. But that's very exciting. Now, one thing that's very important rules-wise, I did pick this up, is if, let's say, for example, this guy was also close combating the same, you would actually resolve them as separate attacks. That's the first thing. But the U.S. units, if they're disrupted and they're attacked by a counter-attacking unit, the first thing that you do is you remove the disruption. The U.S. unit does not have a disruption marker anymore for the purposes of the battle. So that's not an issue for us, but just in case that comes up in your game, you do remove the disrupted marker when you're in attacked by a counterattack situation, like this. So now we got this last situation, and this is a 6-strength tank. That's actually a lot of strength. But for the purposes of close combat, they get 2 cards for being 2 units. They get 1 for having a strength of 4, and they get 1 because it's a tank. You know, they could possibly get it because it's mountain or coral and, you know, those kind of terrain things, but it's only 1 card, period. All right, so that's that situation. And then we have 4 pips for sure. So we get 4 pips, and then we get 1 more because it's a counterattack. But we don't have any heroes or flamethrowers, I don't think. We don't have a flamethrower either, yeah. So that's it for our cards. Now the color this time is brown because it's on the tank here. And we do have a unit next to us, so we get to go first. Yes, I was making sure that it's any U.S. unit, and I thought maybe in case it could have been, you had to have an infantry next to them. We have a tank next to them. It says any U.S. unit, so that means we get to go first. So we're doing brown. So let's go for Brown Town here. And of course we don't get a brown. So I'm nervous now. They go, and they don't get a brown. And here you can see this would have meant, even if there was a brown, it would have been a miss. So we go. There we go. We got both. This was hits either way, but this is a hit, and that's big. So we do disrupt them, which is still not damaging them yet, but we did the first step of damaging them, and we make them discard this card, which had a brown on it. So that was well done, Marines, well done. All right, so next they go, and of course they get another brown. So that's a hit on us, and I'll just damage the top guy here by 1, and we lose our top card, which would not have been a brown. So I guess no harm, no foul. Now we get to go, and there's no brown. They get to go. This is their last card, and there's no brown, and they wouldn't have hit anyways because that's a good event for us. So, and then we have one final card. We need to get one more hit, or otherwise this tank took no damage. And there it is. We do hit them. This reinforce we ignore when it's on our turn. So we do hit them. And so at the very least, we took their counterattack depth marker, and it's flipped over now. So they have one less marker for next time. They get disrupted, and so do we. We did take 1 damage from that. And in that case, I don't think... Yeah, let me think about that. All right, so now it's their turn. And I think that 8.66 rule is just trying to say that if their color is here, then they become undisrupted. So in his case, he's brown, so I'm going to say that he's not undisrupted. So this particular tank is going to stay disrupted, whereas these other ones don't. So let's start with gold. It's going to hit tanks, and you can see gold here is nasty, and it's going to hit 2 things. It hits circle. We established that it can't hit the HQ unit unless it has a star, even if it's an intense fire. But this guy is toast. This engineer is destroyed. The engineer does not count as a catastrophic failure. It's only infantry units, so he's out. So this gold can hit 1 more. So we have to look over here, and you can see there's a circle here, and that is a half circle thing. So the symbols do have to match, but they do, and so this heavy infantry took a hit, and that hurts because that heavy infantry was powerful. So gold is once again causing all kinds of damage on us. I don't like gold. Moving around the map, I don't see anything else gold can do. So then we move to red. And this is the one that's going to make me swear for the next 30 turns. Obviously, this tank loses his disruption. And nothing else happens. This red is within... So we got to look up what M does. This red is probably going to shoot mortar fire. So you can see that he's occupied, but there's no units in his field of fire. So let me put this down. He's occupied. There's no one in his field of fire. I'm just making sure. So then what happens is, for the M action, he's going to do mortar. He's going to hit a US unit with the symbol within 4 hexes. Okay, so obviously the symbol is a circle. So he gets to hit anybody that has a circle within 4 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's any of these. He can't hit the one that was already hit. So now we got to, oh, there's a circle there. And that's it. So this circle here, this one takes a hit, and that's a catastrophic loss because this unit's going off. F21. And so this is a rule check. But since this is mortar fire and not the Japanese fire chart, I'm going to say that he is not disrupted. I know this is an unrevealed unit, and normally when they do normal fire, an unrevealed unit disrupts you. But this isn't normal fire, this is mortar fire. And it doesn't say that it disrupts it, it just says the unit symbol, unit hits unit with indicated symbol. So if I'm interpreting that wrong, please let me know. But that's an interesting situation. Okay, and then the big one, the one that is the bane of my existence, is, see, this guy is within 3 spaces of us, and it's an unoccupied in communication unit, and it's going to muster. So a reserve unit and a depth marker goes into position. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just like a game of whack-a-mole, boom, there's a unit, and it's unrevealed, and we're in intense fire, and it's going to take us a whole turn just to move there. let alone do anything about it. So very, very upset about that. That was, I think that was very low odds. And it just worked exactly against us. Now these two golds are within 3 spaces of us, but if you look at the tank action, when it's unoccupied, they don't do anything. That's the reason why those golds don't do anything. Now this one here, we're out of its range, so there's no US units in a field of fire, and there's no action there as well. Just to give you how to do and deal with all these different golds that are around. I don't see any other reds, and it doesn't matter. The one red that mattered hurt us. So then purple happens, and it's an A, and you can see that the A action is not available to them yet, so it's just a normal fire for purple. All right, so I'm gonna just undisrupt purple, because that's all that happens here, and I think that's all that happens at all. There's no other purple to deal with. We don't touch the counterattack guys. Oh, this purple might do something. He fires, but, oh, we got a guy, and right there, it's a circle. Dang it, dang it, dang it. We take another hit. We got another catastrophic loss. So that one is L37. So, yeah, we're in trouble. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 catastrophic losses. But we are up to 14 now, if you look on the chart there. We're no longer at the 10 we used to be, so that part's good. Okay, so purple did what it did. I'm thinking of a ZZ Top song. You did what you did, but you did, and I thank you. All right, so that is it. They did enough, and I'm not sure I thank them. Okay, so now we do another event, and we are on turn 7. And this is crazy. Semper Fi conduct 2 extra U.S. actions this turn. So that, along with our other one, we now get 3 extra actions. So we're going to get 5 total actions this turn. So that's interesting. I'll take them. I'll take them. So 5 extra actions, and I only have 3 action markers, but there's these are for Bloody Nose Ridge, so I'll just use these as my extra actions. And let's figure this out. This is our top priority. We cannot let purple stay alive. This guy can easily be killed by him by himself. I remember that. So we don't need to use anybody else to hit him. This tank is a problem. It requires a flamethrower and an MG. I have a flamethrower with this guy, and this tank can provide the MG because it's an amphibious tank. I think amphibious tank has everything a regular tank does, but it also has a flamethrower. Let me make sure. So yes, all tanks within 3 hexes add MG, and if it's amphibious, it also adds a flamethrower, but only if it's next to the target. It has to be right next to the target. Okay, so that's still good. This tank, helping him, will give me a strength of 4, and see, I need 6. That's my issue. I need 6. Or no, 4 might be enough if I meet the weapons requirement. Right here. So if I meet the weapons requirement, and I'm at least greater but not double, I defeat the unit if it's alone. So that is enough. So these are all free actions, by the way, because this HQ is providing free actions. And of course, he gets free actions. I would love to take this out, but there's nobody left. But taking these 2 out is still a very good accomplishment. This guy has a range of 2. He can also provide an MG, actually. So either of him or the tank can help kill this. So then the question becomes, I can't do anything about this. It's already disrupted. It's not like I can go, but all I can do is just move units. So that's what I'm going to do. These are all free actions. I'm going to just take care of these now. This one's killed because of him. And I'm looking over at my sheet. He's a regular. He goes in the eliminated box. Okay, this one is destroyed because of him and that tank. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And so this is a this is out of the game. Is what I'm trying to say. So I can move with this guy up to 3 spaces, and I just can't go into an intense zone like this, but I can definitely go 1, 2, 3 and get to here so he can help go after this. This guy can move. He's a heavy infantry. I'm tempted to put him with this HQ unit, and then this HQ regiment itself can move to there. This HQ can also move. No, he can't. This HQ unit had to be in the attack. This disrupted marker goes away. All right, so I got my HQ unit here. I'm giving free candy out. 3 of them don't need the candy, but these 2 do. And I'm preventing the Japanese from taking that, but I do have to worry about this one. This guy does need to be covered, but what I'm going to do is this guy's already been hit once, and I'm just going to move him over and take it like that. So that's easy peasy. This guy loses a disrupted marker. So those units can't do anything. This tank is holding that spot. This tank is going to go 1, 2, 3 and be with this tank. And now we have 2 tanks in control of this HQ. Oh, maybe I should keep the tank with this HQ. Nope, I already have one. I'm going to move it over. This one will move to control that spot. I have to take this. This HQ gives free actions to everybody. This one's already done because he was disrupted. So one of our actions is going to be on this guy right there. And let me turn this so you can see better. So I do get free stuff, but remember, if I hit an intense zone, I have to stop. And so this red is a problem. But this guy I'm going to spend an action, and he's going to go 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to claim this very difficult yellow spot. So even though we didn't get the red one, we at least got the yellow one, which I think is still an important objective. Now this guy can move 3 spaces. I just don't know where to move him to. Like, do I go after red, or do I go 1, 2, 3, and what I'm trying to do is click this, and I think that's what I'm going to do, and that's a free action, by the way. And I have a full strength unit here. Excuse me. I'm concerned about, I'll move them. We're going to go after red. I'll bring this one up because we can't let the Japanese reclaim this. If you cut off communication, by the way, so right now this guy is cutting off communication here and here. This tank is cutting off communication here. And these guys are all cutting off communication there. And this cannot draw a path to 2 Japanese units. So technically speaking, I don't need somebody there. This can only be reinforced by the Japanese if they use an infiltration action. And you can see the infiltration action doesn't happen until turn 11. So technically speaking, I could leave this blank. But for now, I'm just going to move him up and call it a day. This HQ, I'll inch up 1 more space. And speaking of which, we have 1 more unit that's supposed to be on the beach. It is this guy. He's landing on white. And so I'm going to go ahead and land him here on white 1. And that, of course, will be next turn. He's just on the approach box. Okay, so that's all of these units here. This red thing If we draw a red, he's toast. There's nothing I can do about it. If we draw a reinforce or anything on yellow, this is toast. Same with brown, actually. I mean, that's the thing about taking these spots, but taking them is so important. These fire zones are so huge. Here, and even this blue one back here is bad, but it's not as bad as red, and I'm so angry at red. Okay, so this guy gets a free action. These two do not. So I will use my second action to get this guy moving. And he is, of course, going to charge towards red. This one gets a free action going towards red, and he's going to go towards red. And the idea here is we're going to just overwhelm him, and he can't shoot all of us. So somebody's going to get to him. I know that's crazy, but I guess that's what they did even in war. This guy can move 3 spaces, but these are jungle, so if he goes into any of these, he has to stop. So I will use another action to have this one go 1, 2, 3. Like I said, we're just going to overwhelm red. And then this guy will just inch up to there. And what I think I'm going to do is then in a future turn, I'll leave that infantry there, and then this HQ will go up and claim one of those. Because as you can see, we're getting out of the HQ range there, and those are all going to require actions next turn. And then over here, we have our HQ unit. Where is it? Right here, I believe. So all these units are getting free actions. The only ones that are not is this guy and this guy, so I'm just going to use my final 2 actions on them, because those are the only 2 other units in the game that haven't taken an action. So I'm just going to put those out. And this one's on the verge of death, so he's charging. This one gets a free action, and green is a issue. So we're going to go in and see if we can take a chance at taking out green. These 2 will also move forward, and we're going to do the same strategy. We're going to just rush blue. All of these are going to move forward, so my HQ is here, and my engineering units. And remember, this is jungle, so you can only move 1 space and then you're stuck. This guy can move forward, but he had to stop because of the intense fire. These 2 are moving forward into the intense fire zone, and they are concentrated, but it doesn't matter. And this is a range of 2, and this HQ is going to give him a free attack. So as long as this guy stays alive, I can pound the crap out of this thing. And he will stay alive, because if this guy hits somebody, it won't be him. Okay, this guy gets a free move, and we're going to head up and try to take out purple. I don't know if we can, but we're going to try. And then because of the range attack, we got a lot of choices here, but I can move him up, and then he can provide range support to assist. But again, that's an action. And then we don't want to lose our HQ influence here. So this guy gets to move, and we can move him here, and he can provide support. And this HQ unit will give him a free action. So that's what we're going to do. There's a lot of nervousness here. This scenario, or this game, you can't be methodical. I mean, you can be methodical to a point, but you just have to get lucky sometimes. And I mean, the only way I can mitigate this guy being so powerful is to charge the crap out of him, which I just did. And if I draw a red, 2 of them are taking a hit. But even with 2 of them taking a hit, I charged so many units, I'm still going to pound them into the ground. And I guess that's, you know, it is thematic in a way, but no matter how much he's firing his machine gun, there's just not enough bullets spraying to stop the swarm of army coming at him. Maybe there'll be D-Day Stalingrad or something like that sometime. I don't know. We'll just have a bunch of Russian units just with no weapons. All they're doing is just charging a spot. And then Butterfield can make it so you charge a spot and then you just overwhelm them, and then you get to steal their weapons. So the weapon chart is that if you eliminate that German unit, you get their weapons, and then that's now on your weapon chart. Anyways, I'm being silly. So let's move on to turn 8. Now, the HQ phase is starting in turn 8. And what that HQ phase means is that we can flip these HQ units, and then they can give a big range of influence and provide free actions to everybody in their range. I'm very torn on what to do with this guy. I think he's close to where he wants to be. I think I would have liked to have him maybe where this green is and then do the HQ thing, but that's the idea. This HQ, on my last turn, I mean, I could have moved him up more, but I'm keeping him here because I'm trying to influence and give free moves to everybody. But really, he needs to be up further before, and he had the ability to, so maybe I should, because you know what? These units are holding cities that I can't move out anyways, so the only thing he'd be giving a free action to is this tank, which, by the way, could have moved. So let's do that. So sorry, I'm not quite done with that last turn. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to put this HQ unit, I'm assuming he moved 1, I'm going to go 2 to there. And then 3. I think that's where I want to establish a command post. And then my other HQ unit is here. I moved him here. I could have gone 1, 2, 3, and that's a better move. So I'm going to do that because then he can get a command post going over there. So the good news about this is that I will have the southern part of the island pretty well covered. The bad news is once I start moving north, I'm not going to get those free actions. And it's like one of these HQ units probably needs to push north more. Just bear with me. I'm thinking. I haven't fully thought how I want my HQ radius to look. They're going to be able to influence 4 spaces away. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll be able to get into the mountains, but if you really sit down and think about the objectives, I don't need to go into the mountains. I need to go that way. These B units, though, over here along the coast, I do need to take those. And this HQ unit here would let me go all the way to purple. I mean, that's something. I don't know if I need that. This one will let me go all the way to here once it's fully expanded. And then having another one here is going to have a lot of overlap. So I think at some point maybe this one is going to want to get up. But you know what? So I'm going to keep this guy here for now. His job is he's giving free actions to everybody because we need to take those spots. And he's just not going to become a command post. The other 2 will. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think you can make him a command post and then just change your mind later and move him again. So there's no harm in making him a command post even there. And then at some future turn, I can flip it back and just move him. So I think that's what I got to learn to do. Just like when I play 18xx games, I never like trashing my companies. I always like starting a company. The games where you could start a company and make it prosper the entire game are the ones I like the most. Because I have a lot of loyalty. I'm an RPG type of guy. I like leveling up my characters. I like having a company that gets more powerful as the game goes on. And it's really hard for me to have that mindset that I'm just I'm just basically narcissistically using this company to make profit, and then I'm going to get rid of it at the right moment so I can start another company. That's sort of how you have to do these HQ units. You got to narcissistically just focus on now and then get rid of it. And then, anyways, that's not what I like to do. So, sorry, I'm going back and retroactively doing last turn, but it's largely because I was triggered by the fact that this new phase is now opening on turn 8. Okay, so with that being done, let's go. I should have shuffled while I was doing all that rambling. My apologies there. The catastrophic limit, by the way, is now 16. So I do have some breathing room right now. I think I have some problem spots, but I am generally happy with the progress. I'm actually quite happy I got 5 actions last turn. I didn't think I needed them, but actually I did. It's going to hurt to only have 2 this time. So we're doing White Beach, just checking for, well, actually we're not checking for drift. Gold does happen. This guy can still shoot. However, it's a diamond and we're not a diamond, so it does drift right. So he goes over to here. Well, no, he only drifts right if he was a diamond, so he doesn't. So he will land, and we're going to land... I guess landing here is as good as any. That's not a place to land. I'm sorry. Landing here is as good as any. So next is the event. We're on turn 8. And it's the counterattack. So per the rules, we already had a counterattack, so we ignore it. It's a no event. Okay, so now Japanese fire time, and what don't we want? We don't want red. We don't want green. And no blue would be nice as well. So basically, we don't want any of the colors. So why don't we just skip the whole step? I mean, why do we have to do this? And there it is, red. Okay, let's resolve it. So we have a red reinforce. This red can't hit anybody. So then it's called redeploy. So there's no U.S. units in a field of fire. It's going to move to an unoccupied position hex within 3 and closer to a U.S. unit. Then it's going to fire. And unfortunately, that's going to hurt us a lot because you can see quite easily he's just going to move here to green and fire, and that's a intense fire. And he is going to hit us, so this guy goes down a step. That hurt a lot. Oh. I mean, granted, he's now easier for us to hit. So there's a trade-off, but that does hurt. Oh, before we do that, we got to deal with these counterattack guys. So my apologies there. I'm going to leave that executed because I don't think anybody's going after him. So here's the question. We have a disrupted unit on a counterattack guy. Does that counterattack guy do nothing? I thought counterattacks, like especially if you're doing close combat, they ignore disruption. Oh, why can't I find you now? All right, so first thing is, it was not a no event, it's a reinforcement event. If I draw another counterattack. So I was wrong, it's not a no event, it's a reinforcement. And looking at the way this is going to play out, I'm going to have to revert that last action. So just bear with me there. I'm going to assume that since he was disrupted, he just loses a disruption marker and doesn't actually attack this turn. Or is it the 8.66 where he just can never be disrupted? At the end of the... Oh, let me look at 8.66 again. I hate that rule. I just really do. A Japanese unit becomes disrupted by close combat during the Japanese action phase, becomes undisrupted at the end of that phase if in a position hex of a color shown on the Japanese fire card. He was not undisrupted. So that one is disrupted, and so I'm just going to assume that he does nothing this turn. Now this thing I'm reversing. I'm putting him back to full strength, and I'm moving the red back to here. And here's why. This says I must do a reinforcement action. And I'll show you when there's a reinforcement, it's going to go in an empty position nearest to the triggering position hex, which there isn't in this game. Nearest to a US unit. Okay, so a US unit is here, and that's an empty position next to one. And see, this is the only other one. And so then it goes to the lowest numbered position and then the lowest letter. Well, this is A3. Oh, that's B10. Never mind. Dang it. I was thinking a reinforcement was going to go there. So what happens is a reinforcement appeared there as part of the event. Okay, now back to the counterattack. This guy lost his disruption. This one will attack again here. And then this guy is going to attack there. And that is all of the counterattack units that are left in this game. So let's start with this one. We get 2 units for the Japanese, or 2 cards, I mean, for the Japanese units. The unit itself has a strength of 4, so it gets another one. And it gets one. It's not a tank. This one's not a tank. That's all it gets. Does it have a CC on him? No, he doesn't. Okay, that's all he gets. Okay, and then we easily get 4 for our pips. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we get 1 more for our flamethrower, and then 1 more because they're in counterattack. So we have that. He has this. It's a non-position that we're being attacked in, so we use his blue. We do have units that are next to us, so we go first, and it's blue. And we drew a blue. That was perfect. So we disrupt him, which is good. And then he loses his top card, which was a blue. So that was awesome. Love it when a plan comes together. So now he gets to go, and let's hope it's not another blue. And of course it's another blue. He gets a reinforce action as well. So we do take a hit. So let me get these units moved. We'll go ahead and hit the infantry. 1 step. We lose our top card, which was not a blue, and then they get a reinforce. So they get to add a card to their pile, and if it has no depth marker, it would place one. So he gets another card. So now we go, and we got a blue and a heroism. The heroism, we get a card, and we remove a card from the other side. So they lose the card they just got. And then we hit them, so their depth marker was destroyed. And then he loses another card because we hit him, and that's all of his cards. And that was a blue, folks. We got lucky. So now we have a whole bunch of cards, and he has none left. So we just need a blue. So no blue, no blue, no blue, and no blue. Oh my gosh. Did we really just have 4 in a row? How awful can our luck be? Okay, so he survives. I mean, the good news is we survive too, but he survives. He's disrupted, and we are disrupted. So now we go to this one. He has 2 cards for 2 units, a 3rd card because he's a tank, a 4th card because he has 4 or more strength. We get 4 pips, and then another card because they're counterattacking. We do not have any units next to us, so he gets to go first. And they're attacking us on yellow, so it's yellow, although ironically his depth marker is also yellow. But so we're definitely doing yellow. He's going first, and he misses, and we get a US fire on counter. That just means he misses no matter what. And then so we go, and we miss. He goes, he misses, we go, we miss. He goes, he hits. So we take a step loss, and we're going to lose a card, which guarantees is going to be a hit. Nope, it wasn't. We would have gotten another card, though. That would have been nice. So now we go, and we miss again. He goes, and he hits again. So we just got a catastrophic loss. Oh, just trying to find the marker here. And then we go, and we finally got him. So all we did was disrupt him, though. So that was a useless, worthless piece of trash. Okay, so he gets disrupted. He was going to be disrupted anyways. That's why it was useless. All right, so we got hit quite hard up there. And that was just the cards not working our way. Okay, so now we go back to this. And yes, he's moving in with red. We're going to take the hit because that's what this R action does. And then we go to purple, and there is no purple. There's no action with purple. See how it's blank? So we get lucky there, but there is a purple here. And I think we're going to take a, oh no, it's a triangle. So as long as that's not a triangle, we're fine. And this guy's not a triangle either. So we actually survived this purple attack. So nothing happens there. Next, we go to brown. And unfortunately for us, this brown gets disrupted. If we would have close combated him with that disruption marker, it would have actually helped us. But it's not going to now. And just looking around, what color was this one? He's blue. He doesn't lose his disruption. He's yellow. He won't lose his. And is there any other brown that can shoot on us? Because even if there's a brown within 3 spaces, there is. So this is a muster. So he's going to get a unit and a depth marker. He mustered. And then we have this artillery here. It's a 6, and I think there's definitely 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. There should easily be 6. 5. Oh my gosh. Does he only have 5? 6 right there. Actually, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just up here. Oh, there's 6. Yeah, so he hits. So they hit beach landing box. We have nobody in the beach landing box. Then they hit in the landing beach hex. It says 1 non-HQ unit. We have an HQ unit in the landing beach hex. So then in a clear or airstrip hex, which we have plenty of. So then most steps then we choose. So it's going to be a full strength unit. And I guess I'm going to go ahead and hit this guy. So now we have 2 damage there. All right, and so then we draw an event because their phase is over. And intense Japanese fire limits U.S. movement to 1 hex this turn. I don't know if that's a big deal. I think we've only been moving 1 hex anyways, but that does hurt maybe this guy here. Okay, so we only get 2 free actions, and I have a million actions I know I want to do. The big one is we're taking out red. So 1 action is, well, actually these 2 get free actions, so we can take out red on our own. This guy I wanted to get moved to there, but he's not going to be able to move 2 spaces. So I think we might just sit tight with him. We could attack a counter-attacker. He only needs artillery, and we have artillery right here, and that's a free action. But this is not. These are all free actions over here, so we don't need to worry about that side. So then it just becomes a matter of over here, this HQ unit's giving free actions to everybody. He's got free actions. He does not. So 1 action is on him. For sure. And then 1 action is on him to support this. So that's what we're going to do. I think that's a fair approach. So coming to here, this guy for sure is going to attack blue. This guy for sure is going to attack green. And then it's just a matter of who's supporting who. These guys get free actions, so this one will attack this blue. And this tank will support this attack on blue. I guess we could have supported this, but I think for now we're going to support this. This tank here could actually support this attack. This guy with a range of 2 is going to attack this blue, and there's no intervening issue. This guy we can move at some point, and so I'll figure that out in a second. And yeah, we're just going to move him up. He's not a part of the attack, though. These 2 engineers, we can move to there for now. We're on the HQ phase, so I'm flipping this guy to a command post. He is 5/1. So what you do is you take this 5/1 and you just put a 1 here, showing that his range is 1. So they don't really lose any power or ability by flipping over. And so 7-1 also has a range of 1. And I could also do the same here with him for now, and then I would just undo him later. So I'm going to. Why not? There's no harm. So I'm flipping him over to a command post, and he also has a range of 1. So I started to do my actions, and I'm pausing for a second because I skipped a whole new section of the game. So Okay, command posts. So we converted to a command post because as long as you're in a position that's not in a field of fire of a Japanese unit, you're fine. And we're not in a field of fire of a Japanese unit. This tank could be a problem, but he doesn't fire when he's in counterattack mode, so we don't have to worry about that. This is under fire by Brown. Oh, I can't flip him. My apologies. Brown does have him in the field of fire, so I can't flip him. These other ones I think I can, though. Actually, this one I can't flip either because he's in Red's field of fire. So take that one out. What about this last guy? Last guy's fine. So the first one, we're fine. So we can abandon by flipping it to its HQ side, and we just remove the command range. So when you first establish it, it's always a 1. They all increase during this turn, or this phase of every turn. There's 3 range markers that are going to be out there because there's only 3 HQ units. It's just trying to explain here that when you get here, it's going to stay 2 for a while because it takes several turns before you get to range 3. That's all that's explaining. Okay, so what can we do with 1? We give out free actions, we give out radios. That's what HQ units do even when they're not a command post. It's just going to do it at a larger range. Tank and artillery fire is also not changed. And barrage, also not changed. This is all the same stuff that a HQ unit does. It's just larger range. They are leaders. So they're hit by Japanese fire based on leader rules. But here's the big thing I was looking for. During this phase, you may place garrison markers in hexes, meaning they're in the command range of the command post. They're occupied by a U.S. unit, and they're in U.S. communication. U.S. communication just means you can trace a path to our landing beach. They're not in a field fire of a Japanese unit, even if it's disrupted. And if those are met, we get to place a garrison marker in a position. Any number of them can be placed. And then what a garrison marker does is it doesn't count towards stacking. It doesn't do actions, but it prevents them. It secures the location and prevents them from infiltrating and all that nasty stuff. So that's what I was trying to find. And so, yes, I only have 1 HQ unit that was able to go to command post. Both of the other ones were in a field of fire. And then part of this phase is I automatically get to put a garrison here. His range is only 1, so I can't put a garrison somewhere else until his range gets bigger. But right now, there's a garrison there, and that means I can move the command... Well, command post can't move, actually. So, I was getting all excited. I can move it. Okay, so back to this. We're going to do this action here. These 2 guys will attack this. All right, so this is bad. It's a jungle hex, so this is a 6 strength unit. It's a CC, so we're not going to meet the requirements for it. But we have 10 strength. That is not the 12 that we need. So when our attack strength is greater but not double, we get disrupted. So we're disrupted from that attack. And nothing happens to the Japanese because we didn't attack it with enough strength. That blows. Him being doubled was hurt. It hurt. So now this guy was available, so I move him forward. Okay. So then these 2 are going to attack, and this is only going to be 7 strength, but he doesn't have a depth marker. It doesn't matter, because if that was a 3, we'd have been screwed. The MG is definitely met. We definitely have double. He's eliminated. Okay, and he goes in the eliminated box. All right, and then these 2 are going to attack this guy. And we reveal and look at this. This is a 6 strength unit, and we only have 9. But the big difference here is we do have the DE and the MG. Well, do we have the MG? We have the demolitions, for sure. Oh, yeah, we have the MG, and we have the demolitions. We have them both. So we met the requirements. And so the big difference between this and the other one is we were at a no on the other one. This one's a yes. We're greater but not doubled. He's by himself, so he's defeated. So we actually do defeat him. Now, he does have communication, so he goes back into the reserve unit pool. Okay, but this is good news all around for us because we just got rid of this was huge. Getting rid of this was nice. This one, not so nice, but that was still an excellent outcome. Now we go over here. I'm attacking with all 3 of these units on this. So we reveal, and that's a 3. This is a jungle, so this becomes a 6. And he needs to be flanked. We don't have the flank requirement. We do have the bazooka, but that doesn't matter. Now you need a 12 to disrupt him, but in our case, we have 5 just from this. And then this is another 7, which is 12, and that's 3 more. So we do succeed in disrupting him. So he's disrupted, even though we weren't able to take him, and that's a good outcome. Now, the other nice thing is they're finally revealed, so if they hit us, we don't get disrupted from them when they hit us. So that's something that is a huge bonus for us. Now, coming over to here, I thought red hit somebody. I thought we drew a red. Did we draw a red and then I never applied a hit to anybody? On their action card, didn't they have a red? Yes, they did, because this guy moved in. Did I just forget to do this? I think I did. So a red M, when somebody's in your field of fire, is they're firing and they're firing with their machine gun. So 2 guys are getting hit. And those 2 guys are going to be disrupted. And that's the reason why I was curious about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disrupt the 2 guys I couldn't give free actions to anyways, right? I get to choose the 2 that are going to be hit. And these 2 had the most pips. So bing and bing. So now I'm going to attack red with this 7 and this 6 and that 2. So here we go. There we go. We need a flank, which sucks. But we definitely double him. And he's in a... The one nice thing is he doesn't get any doubling bonuses because he's out in the middle of nowhere. And the big news here is we disrupted him. And, of course, our disruption markers go away because this is our turn. Moving on. This guy could do something. I just don't know what. He can barrage somebody. Can I barrage and attack in the same turn? I don't think I can. The other thing is with these counterattack guys, are they actually in my space? So are they like with me like that? I think they are. So they were with me, but we're just disrupted together, I guess. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like our disruption marker goes away, but we have this unit there like that. I think that's how you interpret this. Because the rulebook makes some comment about how you can't barrage a spot that has both units. And this is the only scenario where I could see that you'd have both units together. Okay, so I was interested in barraging this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 away, but the issue is if I barrage it, I also want to attack it. And obviously I want to barrage something, but can I attack something and barrage something in the same turn? That's my question, and I know this is answered somewhere, but I'm tired. I don't remember. Sorry, I'm just, wherever they have this located in the rulebook, it's just a spot that I'm not looking at. Obviously, you could only barrage revealed targets, got that. We can barrage it using multiple units if we want, got that. Here we go, no combined attacks. A Japanese occupied hex may not be attacked and barraged in the same phase. A barrage against a hex in a position group affects, okay. So if I try to barrage with that tank, then I can't attack it. And so I think I want to attack it because I want him to be gone, but I also want this thing to be gone. So we're in the influence of this HQ. This requires a close combat. You can see it written right on there. So we're going to have this HQ unit and this heavy weapons do close combat. So that's what we're doing there. These two tanks, along with this guy, will attack here. Because both of these can support, because this is the infantry doing the observation, and this HQ unit is providing the radios to them. This unit is disrupted because of their nonsense. And I'm going to undisrupt him. And I think it's like this, the situation. So then my next question is, can I then, with these units, close combat these? And I think the answer is yes, but then I would have this big pile of American units, which would then get eliminated at the end of my round. So I may not want to do that. I could try to attack him, but see, he needs a flank, and he's quite powerful, actually. I'm not going to be able to satisfy that. This guy can obviously move, but I'm only allowed to move one space. So I will move that one space. I'll move here. And then this one only gets to move one space, and he'll move there. Oh, no, he won't. Because if these guys lose, they're going to retreat. His goal was to move here, but he can't because of this stupid event. Patootie head. Okay, so yeah, let's get this done. We're going to do these first. So 2 sets of tanks in this are going to attack here. It's a close combat requirement with a 3. They're in a building in a jungle. Now remember, you don't get to... it's not cumulative, so you just pick one or the other, whichever one's best. And to be honest, they both have the exact same bonus, except I guess Jungle gets a bonus card in close combat. So anyways, this is a 6 strength unit. That's 5. This is 8, and that's 10. So we don't meet the requirements. Oh my gosh, is this going to happen again? So now we're disrupted. And I think in my previous games, I would have said, okay, now I'm going to barrage him to make sure he's disrupted so he doesn't hurt us next turn. And I can't do that. You can't barrage and attack. So since I chose to attack him and reveal him, I can't now barrage him with this tank, which is obviously something I would love to do. So, yeah, this makes the game a little harder. a lot harder, because now when I draw a green, I'm screwed. Okay, let's resolve this. Two for the Japanese units. One because of the CC. We get to reveal the depth marker. It's just a 2. But they do have a strength of 4, so they get 1 for that. And they have a jungle, so they're going to get 1 for that. So the Japanese have a lot of cards. We get 4 for our pips, 4 for our peeps, and 1 for the flamethrower, and that's it. So they go first. The color is brown. This is actually going to be a really hard battle. And it's going to be even harder. Oh, look at this. They would have hit us, but US fire on counterattack means they miss. No, it's not a counterattack. Oh, screw you, Japan. Okay, so we took a hit. And this is a catastrophic loss. HW1. Is it? Where's the HW? Yeah, it is. Oh, I am very annoyed. And we lose our top card. So now it's our turn. And of course we miss. Their turn. And they hit again! We lose our top card, which was a hit. And we go, and we hit them, which all that does is disrupt them. Yippee, yippee. He goes. It's a miss. We go. It's a miss. He goes. It's a hit. And our unit's eliminated. This was brutal. And we can say we're withdrawing, but it doesn't matter. We just draw one more card, and that's all they have. And all he did was get disrupted, which is what would have happened if we didn't damage him at all. So that was an awful, awful outcome. We're running out of units over here, and there's no more units landing. I mean, look over there. There's no more units coming to help us. What you see on this board is all we have to accomplish everything in this game. This is brutal. Okay. I think that ended our turn. And we move on to turn 9. So their A action is now available. The catastrophic limit is 18. We are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're at 12. I need to shuffle. Strategy check. I think everybody would agree that this is a very difficult corner of the board. So I don't think anybody who's even played this game a lot more than me would argue with the fact that I'm struggling there. I think that I had the right strategy for the middle of the board. It's just that it's backfiring in a couple of ways. The close combat is killing me in one spot, and then of course that red popping in right when I was getting ready to take it was the other. Moving over to here, I feel like that jungle is such slow moving progress. I think I'm actually doing fine. It's just that it's so slow. And then, do I have the right number of units helping me? That's the next question. I have all these units in the middle of the board. Maybe those should have been moving to the left to help me. I don't know. I mean, those are the challenges I'm running into. I am reaching the conclusion that getting a command post is the right thing to do, because that's how I get my garrisons down, and then that allows me to free up my units to charge and take over other parts of the island. So I do want... Right now, this HQ is eligible to flip because there's no firing on him. But, see, there are times when they're disrupted, you can ignore it, and then there's times when they're disrupted, you can't. And that's the thing about these Butterfield rules that drive me nuts is, you know, there's always this time when it's okay and time when it's not okay. And so now I just said that they don't have fire on my HQ, and now I got to go see if they have the word undisrupted. It says that you can't convert to a command post even if this was unoccupied. So you have to occupy every position that can fire on here with your unit. So I need to occupy this and both of these in order to build that command post there. So that is brutal. I may want to move my HQ back one space. And I know red is not occupied yet, but that might make it easier on me. I don't know, but those HQs probably shouldn't have stayed where they are. Like this HQ over here, I could have backed it up one maybe. And now we're looking at, I'm controlling all those. So on my turn, I would have moved this backwards. But that's also creating issues with, I now no longer get free actions with some stuff, but they're disrupted anyways. So who cares? So yes, I'm moving him back so he can become a command post next turn. And I decided it is important to become a command post close to the beach, because once he expands, I can put garrisons down everywhere. And then all my units can now do things. And then once I get everything accomplished, I just tear down the command HQ and move somewhere else, start again, and get more garrisons down. In fact, I need to get garrisons on these, and this guy is my only hope, you know, Obi-Wan. And I'm keeping him where he is, largely because even if I moved, there's nowhere to move that's safe. I would have to move him all the way back to here and make a command post here, which could work. I mean, eventually he can get all the way over, but I'm just going to leave him where he is for now. Yeah, I'm leaving him where he is. Okay, I'm at 1 hour 28, so I'm going to just see you in a few seconds, and we'll get this turn started.